so we can finish forming words. And then on the next weeks, we're going to start checking exercises dedicated to the final exam. So that's going to be important. Now forming nouns, forming adjectives. There we go. Okay. This was last week's object, no? Transforming nouns and verbs into adjectives. Verbs transform using ed and the past participle and the ing, but also it is used with some other suffixes. For example, different, dependent, and excellent. The suffix "ent" create adjectives from verbs too. These three are very interesting because they come from a B2 verb, the word defer, the word depend, and the word excel. Probably depend is easy, but excel and defer are very, very new words. So let's get familiar with them. Okay, let's go through the vocabulary and let's practice these new words. Izzy, are you there, girl?
Hello, teacher.
Hi.
Yes.
Let's practice. Okay, you're gonna tell me what's the meaning of differ.
Differ.
Differ. Intransitive, to be different from somebody, something.
How do you read this slash?
I am not sure.
Or, remember, it's an option.
Or? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, or.
One more time.
Differ? Yes.
The
Differ.
definition.
Differ, intransitive, to be different from somebody or something.
Let's use the second example.
Okay, a difference. I am not sure.
Again.
The first.
Not a.
It's
the first. A and B.
A differs from B.
Exactly. Example.
French differs from English. Sorry, English in this respect.
That's right. So we are comparing two things, A and B. Okay. In this case, A is French and B is English. French differs from English in grammar, for example. First, French differs from English in pronunciation, for example. Do you get it?
Yes.
That's right. So the same way we use the word, for example, the other one that we have here was excel. Excel as a verb. Action, Elsie.
Excel. Intransitive, to be very good at doing something. Excel in or at something. She has always excelled in foreign languages. As a child, he excelled at music and art. Excelled at doing something. The team excels at turning defense into attack.
So the synonym would be, to be very good. Right. And it obeys the same The same collocation that we use when you say I am very good, you use the connector at. The same way we are using here to excel at. A person excels at school. And that's the derivative from the word excellent, which is a word that is very similar to Spanish. And the word different, which is a word very different, similar to Spanish. So interesting is to see that they come from a verb. They actually come from a verb that we were not very familiar with. This is a very important set of words you need to learn. Okay. So if we see these words, we may think that they are very easy to translate. But there is a problem with them. Okay. For example, and if us, let's check out the differences between Spanish and English, talking about adjective formation. There is a word, for example, that we use. Let's check it out. I'm trying to find it. Just a second. Because there are some that are very different. Okay. Let's talk about the word. How will you say this one? Cheerful, clueless, thoughtful, which are words that end in full. And we have another set like dependable, drinkable, changeable, and very, very common one, very modern one, wearable. Oh, we have another one. Edible. Think about these words into Spanish. How do you say cheerful in Spanish? Let me give you an example. You are not your usual cheerful self today. You are in a cheerful mood, happy and showing it by the way you behave. Anyone?
In Spanish, alegría.
No, because alegría is not an adjective.
Alegre.
Exactly. Yes. Alegre. What a different thing, no? Because in Spanish, the word alegre has nothing to do with the word in English. In English, we have the word cheer, which is a to say hello. So
Okay.
here, full has a very strange combination talking about being happy. And we usually use the word happy. No? Eliminate happy and use the word cheerful. There is another one. Clueless, which is similar to say very stupid or not able to understand or do something. In a negative way, we can use it as a person that doesn't have the ability to do something. He's completely clueless about computers. Right? And that's even better than to call someone stupid. If you call someone stupid, you're being super rude. But the word clueless can make it a little bit less um, less strong. You know what I mean? Clueless. New vocabulary. Elsie, help me with this.
Thoughtful.
Thoughtful.
Mm, thoughtful. Okay. Quiet because you are thinking.
Yes.
He looked thoughtful.
Thought. First the word is thought and then add full. Thoughtful.
Tactful.
Again, thought. Thought.
Tact.
Excellent.
He looked tactful.
Yes. Look thoughtful.
They sat in thoughtful silence.
Sounds better. Mhm. Sounds much better. A person that is quiet, silent, looking at nothing, that person is thoughtful, is thinking a lot. Okay. And we would say that the word thoughtful, how do you say thoughtful in Spanish?
Pensativo.
Exactly. That's very interesting because when you see that in English we have the ending "ive," we may think, pensativo in English is pensative. And that is a mistake, a very common mistake in the exam. We assume that because the word "if" exists, we are going to have words like pensative, because attractive, similar to Spanish, effective, similar to Spanish, imaginative, similar to Spanish. Following this logic, pensative, incorrect. The word should be thoughtful. Right? You have a question?
No.
No, right?
No.
That's important vocabulary. The next one. Dependable. Help me, yes.
Dependable. That can be relied
Okay.
onto
Be what?
relied
Mhm.
relied
Exactly. Relied. Very good.
that can be relied on to do what you want or need.
Do you understand it?
Mhm. Not really. I don't know what you rely.
Yes, that's a good question. To rely on someone, this is a verb, is to have a to need or depend on somebody. So you
Okay.
say, I depend on my parents, I rely on my parents,
Okay.
right? That's the reason we have this word undependable, because the dependable person relies on somebody. No, can be relied. Can be relied. This is passive voice.
Can be relied.
Can be relied. Read these examples. That can help you.
She is loyal and totally dependable.
Mhm.
Dependable and totally dependable. The service was not in. I am not sure. Entirely. Entirely. The service was not entirely
Yes,
dependable on flights. Sorry, flights were often cancelled.
that's right.
Mm,
I understand dependable.
mm, mm, mm. I am not sure.
What do you understand?
Mm, it's isn't. I am. I am. Is maybe the opposite
Mhm.
to the relied.
No, because actually it's a synonym.
Okay.
If
That.
it's in the definition, it's a synonym.
Uh-huh.
A person that can be relied on. Rely is, okay, if I trust you,
Yes.
it's because you are reliable to me. Reliable. Are you familiar with the word reliable?
Not really.
That can be an easier word.
Reliable.
Reliable is that can be trusted.
Okay.
If I trust you, you are reliable.
Okay.
So I know I can give you, I know I can tell you my secret because you are reliable. You are not going to tell the other person.
Okay.
Dependable is a synonym of reliable,
Okay.
you see? Which I know, this is exactly the reason why I wanted to see this word with you. The word dependable sounds very similar to the dependiente, you know,
Yes. I
which
was
is very
thinking.
different. You were thinking independiente, no?
Yes. But yes. But rely. We say that rely. It
Rely,
was
rely.
rely. Rely. It was depends or
Yeah,
depends.
rely is the verb.
Okay, and that's the meaning. Depends to somebody or something.
Of rely, yes, but dependable, no.
Okay.
This is the verb rely, and this is an adjective dependable. They are different. When think about this, a dependable person is a person that can be depended on. That I can depend on you. If I can depend on you,
Okay,
I'm
it's
dependable.
because. Okay.
You see? So it's not dependiente. It will be
Yes.
more like how do you say reliable in Spanish? Confiable.
Okay.
Mhm. That shouldn't be, it's very, very different to dependiente. That's the reason these adjectives are very tricky. You know? Let me check if the word dependent exists. Dependent. Dependiente, needing something or somebody or something in order to survive or to be successful. Don't confuse dependable with dependent.
Okay.
Right? Thoughtful. Usually confused with sensitive. Usually mistakenly translated as sensitive. That is incorrect. Clueless, new word, cheerful, new word. Drinkable. Are you familiar with the word drinkable, Elsie?
Mm, I think so.
What have you heard?
The it is used when you can express that you can drink something.
Exactly. Then you can drink something in the same context when something you can eat it, that's edible. The
Can
second
you
one,
repeat that? The edible?
when you can eat it,
Oh, okay.
you
That is new.
say for decorations on a cake, for example. Sometimes decorations are like they look like plastic or they look like paper, but you discover that they are edible.
Okay. Edible.
An edible, an edible glass of no, an edible cup of coffee, drinkable yogurt, for example. That's another. And it's the same one with changeable and wearable, right? Changeable that you can change and wearable that you can wear. These interesting ones are very unfamiliar to Spanish words because there's no translation from to Spanish. If you think about these words, if you try to look for a word in Spanish, you are not going to find them. Probably drinkable, probably edible, but changeable, that doesn't exist in Spanish.
Canjeable.
Canjeable, no, that's different. That's redeemable. That's a different word. Canjeable is redeemable.
Redi- oh, redeem-
That's a different word, no?
yeah.
Let's go to the verb redeem. Compensate? No, that's a different information. This number 5. To exchange something such as shares or vouchers for money or goods. This voucher can be redeemed at any of our branches, like coupons, for example.
Okay.
So changeable would be something that we can change. Change as like modify, you know? Something that is changeable is a website. A website, when you see the website on a computer, it's different than if you see it in a mobile phone. this design is changeable.
Okay.
New stuff. So redeem is a new verb. Let me check the level. There's no level here. C2, no, probably will be C2. Mhm. That's one. And finally, wearable. Wearable doesn't exist in Spanish. Do you know what a wearable is?
No.
A wearable, okay. Wearable is very commonly used to speak about technology and gadgets that you can wear as accessories, such as a watch, such as a band, or things to measure your heartbeat. So it's like heartbeat bands, watches, smartwatches, and all these things that you wear, they are wearables. Recently, these gadgets have adapted this word for them, but it can be another kind of wearable. For example, a wearable plastic to cover yourself from the rain. In case you don't have a coat, you can take a wearable plastic. You see? And there are other types of uses for the word wearable that you can use. These are one of the most relevant examples that I can think when you are talking about creating new adjectives. Adjectives that we use with English words transformed into an adjective. We don't usually use the word cheer, but it's important to learn it because the word cheerful exists. Right? We usually don't use the word thought, the noun thought. Actually, let's talk about the original words. The original words for this, we have cheer, flew, thought, depend, drink and eat, change, redeem, and wear. Those are the words that derivate to these adjectives. Cheer is a verb, clue is a noun, thought is a noun, depend is a verb, drink and eat, verbs, change verb, and redeem and wear verbs. The more familiar you are with simple words, the easier it becomes to learn new adjectives. Or the opposite, you can learn the adjective first and then separate the word into the basic word, the root word. That can also help you expand your vocabulary. You see a new adjective and you separate the two components to see what they are. Is there any question in the simple words that we have here?
No.
They're easy, no? Be careful just with this one, because I heard saying think, thought. It's like the past of think, thought, but as a concept. Okay. Now, another issue with translating these are the famous prefixes. Now, these prefixes are not the end of the word, the beginning of the word. So you have prefixes like over, under, on, in, l, non, this, and sir that are negative suffixes that help you transform adjectives into negatives, right? These are very relevant when translating because the translation sometimes is not the same. For example, look at the word unfortunate. How do you say unfortunate in Spanish?
Desafortunado.
Oh, yes. Interesting because we have the word this. So it will be very common to use the word disfortunate, and that's incorrect. Here you have a list of very common mistakes. If you want to say infeliz in English, you need to say unhappy, not unhappy, even when the suffix exists. The same way, impeccable, right, uses an M, impeccable, right? Because in Spanish it's used impeccable, and that's a very different thing. Or the opposite, imperfection in Spanish, because we have an M, in English is imperfection with only one N. Details. The devil is in the details. Your good result in this type of exercises is always in the details. I know this is completely paying attention to your spelling. Desafortunado is unfortunate. Imprescindible or indispensable, that will be in English, will be let me check the word in English. Okay, this indispensable in English would be essential. Or indispensable. Indispensable, in this case, there's no difference here, but it's more common to use essential. Insoportable transforms into unbearable. Desordenado transforms into messy or disorderly. Interesting that it has the li. This li is not an adverb, eh? This is an adjective. Inexperto transforms into inexperienced or unskilled. Here is another difference. Un. Desesperado transforms into desperate or hopeless, which again is a suffix less, similar to the synonym for stupid. Do you remember the synonym for stupid? What was it?
Can you repeat?
The synonym for stupid in the previous slide. Do you remember it? It's kind of hard, no?
Clueless. No.
Clue like the game. Clueless.
Clueless.
Correct. Which in Spanish was well, it doesn't exist, no? In this case, again, desesperado can be used as hopeless, not desperate, you know? That's an incorrect translation. Oh, something important here. We usually say desesperate because in Spanish exists, but in English it's only one syllable. Desperate. No deses. You see?
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much it. Small details, small differences. that exist in English. And last but not least, a list of adjectives that end in li. Be careful with this. Look at these words. Where are we? We are talking about adjectives. Some of them end in li. Do you remember this line? Or have I shown you this line before? I don't remember.
Yes, you go with us.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Right. Okay. If you remember some of the lessons, we have expressions like weekly and time expressions, like yearly, weekly, yearly, and monthly, etc. But there are other words that have the suffix li that are not so common, but they exist. All these words, we need to consider them too into our suffixes and prefixes. That's pretty much it. This is your lesson, girls. Do you have any question?
No, can you send us a screenshot?
Sure. Sure. Let me send it to you.
Thank you.
What's there we go. Ready. Okay, just let's give a moment to Jessie because she's in the chat. Hello, Jess. Good night.
Hello, teacher. Hello. Good night, dears. I will. The attendance, please, is here. Jessie. Hello, Jessie.
Hello, good night.
Good night, Jessie. Thank you. And Elsie.
Hello.
Hi, Elsie. Good night. Thank
Good
you to
night.
be here. And see you tomorrow. Have a good night.
You too, Mel.
Likewise.
Thank you very
See
much.
you. You're welcome.
Okay, girls, study this slide, right? Tomorrow we're going to do some exercises on creating words. It's very similar to the previous indication we had for forming words. It's about experimentation. That's the only way you can create new words. I really suggest that when you are watching a movie and when you are listening to podcasts, take a note on the words that have these terminations and these beginnings so you can get more familiar with these words. They are very, very useful when you are trying to speak in another level. Okay. So right now we're done. We're finished for today. Have a wonderful night. I'll see you tomorrow.
Good night. See you.
See you later, girls.
Good
Bye-bye.
night. See you.
Bye-bye. See you.